Daniel Sports Central, we go over a college football game preview and prediction on the Week 2 matchup between the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Iowa State Cyclones. Two teams that are in very similar situations looking forward to Week 2. Both teams could definitely be dark horse contenders in their conferences. It's just about winning the big games. And for Iowa, this is a team that's definitely got a higher ceiling in 2023, I would say, versus the past couple of years. You consider Caden McNamara in there now. This team's finally got a halfway decent quarterback, and this defense is always great. I think this is a team to really keep an eye on, and they've got a big road test in Week 2 taking on Iowa State. Iowa State's a team that definitely has got a lot of uncertainty, I think, right now, but I think this is a game where we're going to find a pretty good idea as to what to expect for both of these teams this season. We'll be covering a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today. Let's get started with your team trends. Iowa beat Utah State last week 24-14, which may be a bit of a closer game than some were expecting, but a win's a win, got it done in the end, and kind of similar to what we saw last season. The offense didn't look great, but the defense looked really good. This is usually a really strong defensive team. It's just the offense that has really held this team back the past couple of seasons. If the offense were better, I think this is something everyone knows, but if this offense was better, this team could totally be up there college football playoff contenders. So it's definitely a critical part of this team. But for Iowa State, took care of UNI, beat them 30-9. Both teams off to 1-0 starts, as you would expect. Game's be on Saturday, September 9th, and it's going to be in Ames. We saw Iowa State win this game last season. They were an underdog, and they beat Iowa in Iowa City last year. So Iowa State is favored in the FPI, but the spread's going towards the Hawks by 4 points, and a low-scoring game is expected here, as you would probably expect considering both offenses probably not expected to be great this season. 36.5 is the line for that. Anything below 40 for the over-under is extremely low, and so seeing this at 36.5 is it's pretty insane. But kickoff's going to be 2:30 p.m. Central. Series history, Iowa leads it 46-23. They have won 7 out of the past 10, but Iowa State did get the win last season in a surprise win, you could say, winning it on the road. Stat comparison for this one, Caden McNamara, not a bad start for him. 17 for 30, 191 yards and 2 touchdowns. Could be better, but, he's already better than, say, Spencer Petras or Alex Padilla ever was. Both of them just not very good quarterbacks. So having Caden McNamara in there, a quarterback that's got experience in the Big Ten. He's been with Michigan, a team that's been proven winner the past couple of years. I think this is huge having him in there, but still can see better out of him. Caleb Johnson, lead rusher. Luke Lachey is the top tight end, the top in receiving last week with 73 yards. Pass defense allowed 213. Rush defense allowed 116 last week. So defensively, still could be better, but not too bad out of what we saw. And as for Iowa State, Rocco Becht is the quarterback for this team, obviously with Hunter Deckers in that situation that unfolded a few weeks ago. So this is a team that's got uncertainty offensively for sure. Hunter Deckers was a quarterback that was expected to be at least halfway decent in 2023, but it's going to be the young quarterback, redshirt freshman in Becht instead. And so, he didn't have a bad game against UNI, but we're going to see him against a much better defense in Week 2 against the Hawks. Cartevius Norton was the top in rushing. Benjamin Brahmer, the top tight end, top in receiving for this team last week. And defensively, not too bad for the Cyclones last week as well. Your game points for this one, both teams 1-0. Iowa, this is a team that's got a lot more potential this season. Mentioned that before. I think Caden McNamara brings a much higher ceiling for this team. Once again, the defense, usually a really strong side of the ball for this team. It's just been the offense that's been terrible, and I think Caden McNamara being in there definitely brings a new level of potential to this team. They still can be better, and this is a crucial game that can build a lot of momentum for both teams, I think. The loser of this game is in a tough spot at 1-1, I think, and it's not a conference game, so that is something that, this is just a rivalry non-conference matchup, but it's still a really crucial game for building momentum and for both teams in general. But for the Cyclones, this is a team that's got uncertainty but upside. I think defensively, this team should be better. They were pretty terrible at times last season, but offensively, it's just about offensively, can they get things going and win some games in the Big 12, maybe be a dark horse contender. I still think, though, for Iowa State, this is a team that is at a disadvantage. They're still a very young team. And Rocco Becht at quarterback, I mean, he's still a guy that's very young. I think the future's bright for Iowa State. We've seen this team. Matt Campbell's led this team to a lot of success in recent memory. The past couple of years, not as much, but I think this season could still be a bit of a down season. But I think the future, if you can retain some of this talent that you have right now, and if you can develop it like Matt Campbell has proven to do, this is a team that's very much able to be a contender, I think, in a year or two from now. It's just this season, this team is kind of in a tough position, but home field advantage and a massive opportunity, that's for sure. Iowa State beat the Hawks last season. It can happen this season for sure. You consider that. But with that, let's get to the prediction here for Iowa and Iowa State coming up here in week 2. A big week 2 rivalry matchup. And in the end, I'm going to be going with the Hawks here. 20-13 is my predicted final score. I still think we see a very low scoring game, 20-13. I think Iowa offensively can be a lot better. I don't know that we see it quite yet in this matchup. I do think they put up 20 points. I think Iowa State's defense should be pretty solid as well. I do think that they should be improved this season. It's just offensively, I don't know if Iowa State's going to get much going. And in the end, I'm going to take a 20-13 Hawks win, 55% towards Iowa. I'm taking the under, Hawks to cover the spread in the end. But this is a matchup that I could see going either way. I mean, Iowa State being at home does give them an advantage for sure. But as of now, I feel like Iowa, I'm pretty confident picking this team as the better versus Iowa State. It's just a matter of whether or not the Cyclones can, maybe pull an upset at home. But the way it stands right now, though, Iowa's all around, I think, the better team. But with that, appreciate you guys watching as always. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this one, and stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. Catch you on the next one.